April is here and I decided to do a faux calligraphy again, and I think I'm going to keep with this style of lettering for every month. I like it, it's easy, and I'm using the KellyCreates Fine Liner 05. Now if you see, there's no pencil lines on my page. For the first time I decided to experiment, and I was practicing drawing pussy willows for my theme this month. And they were so easy. You can see you just need two wiggly lines to make a branch, and then those little leaves are actually not leaves, they are little bases for the pussy willows. So I drew those in next on both of the branches, and then I used my 01. I went to a much finer fine liner to create the fuzzies. Now for the fuzzies I just drew little dash lines or straight lines around kind of an oval shape, and they don't have to be the same size. The oval shape is fairly important for pussy willows, but some of mine are rounder than others. So one thing I did realize though is that you do need to make the lines fairly short, otherwise the pussy willows will look a little bit more prickly rather than fuzzy. My mini calendar is the same, monthly calendar is the same as usual. I'm sticking to this format I think for the entire year, and I also use the 01 black fine liner for this. On the page beside it I decided to do another quote, and this is a spring quote, and I'm using my KellyCreates black fine tip brush pen. I really like this quote. I think it's a very hopeful kind of quote, considering what we're all going through right now. I'm writing or working on this in quarantine. I was in the States and I drove back to Canada, and now I'm in quarantine for 14 days, so I have 7 days left. So I'm using this time to get my videos done on YouTube and also to work on my bullet journal and my planner. So I decided to, instead of putting anything at the top of the pages, I stayed with my branches at the bottom of the pages. I wasn't sure about that, but at the very end I thought, yeah, it looks pretty good. If I decide to change it in the future, I can just literally add anything to the top if I don't like this, but I kind of like just having that white space at the top of the page. On the left page I have 5 branches, and on the right page I had 2, so I did end up adding 1 over in the far right corner. Now when it came to drawing these fuzzies, I want to get back to them because I know it looks very simple in fast forward right now, but it isn't. There's actually some technique to it as well. And the technique I'm referring to is that I noticed when I started on the right side and went around to the left side, my lines and shapes of the pussy willows were just much nicer. I know that sounds kind of odd, but when I teach people hand lettering, I always tell them to pay attention to the stroke and direction of the stroke of the pen. If you find you are getting better results moving in one direction rather than another in writing letters, I think this also applies to illustration. Now doing this video is a little bit different than regular illustration because I avoid turning my book to get the lines going in the nicest way, in the nicest direction that works for me as possible. So you can just keep that in mind when you're working on your spread. But here's April and I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks for watching.